Right now on Arizona's Family Sports, an Arizona Cardinals preseason special. It was an offseason of change, the top storyline so far, and a look at the long road ahead.
I'm not really concerned about all that kind of stuff. I just am concerned about building this staff and getting to working with these guys so that when the time does come, we're putting our best foot forward to go win football games.
A new head coach and a new identity for the Bird Gang. Coming off a season with just 3 wins.
We're going to have a great season. We're going to win games, and we're going to make sure those fans have something proud to cheer for.
With the player personnel that we have, with the coaching staff that we have, I have very high expectations on this team.
Cardinal fans are hungry for success, but are the Birds up to the task? Inside the Nest, an Arizona Cardinals 2026 season special starts right now.
And welcome to Inside the Nest, our Cardinals 2026 preseason special. Mark McClune alongside Nick King. And Nick, there is nothing in sports quite like the anticipation of football season.
Generally speaking, hope springs eternal this time of year for football fans. Now, the Red Sea might be an exception to that rule right now, at least some fans, but I think there's plenty of reason for optimism.
Yeah, and I think if you look back at this time last year, the biggest reason that I have optimism is that the Cardinals had better odds to go to the Super Bowl than the Seahawks and the Patriots. You never know how things are going to go in an NFL season.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
We see it every year in the NFL, that a team goes from worst to first and shocks people. I think there is the firepower on this offense to surprise a lot of people and maybe sniff the playoffs.
Yeah, well, can they put it together with the new head coach? So that's the biggest change of the offseason for the Cardinals, the hiring of first-time head coach Mike LaFleur.
The younger brother of Packers head coach Matt LaFleur is tasked with turning around a franchise that was 3-14 last year and has lost at least 13 games 3 of the last 4 years. Bruce Arians is the only Cards coach with a winning record since the team moved to Arizona almost 40 years ago. And since BA left after the 2017 season, it's largely been a struggle. Steve Wilkes one season, 3-13. Cliff Kingsbury had the Cardinals on an upward trajectory, led them to the playoffs in his 3rd season, but the regression to 13 losses was immediate. Similarly, Jonathan Gannon brought some belief for a moment before things went into a tailspin. The combined record of those coaches, 46-73. And so, back to square one. Though there is energy surrounding the hire of the 39-year-old LaFleur, who's learned under some of the top coaches in the sport.
Yeah, sustaining success. That's the key theme here. Now, LaFleur knows the NFC West very well. He was with the Rams for 3 seasons and the 49ers for 4. Had a chance to sit down with the new Cardinal coaches. He prepares for a job that he's been preparing for his entire life.
If I were to walk into a family gathering this summer and say, Coach LaFleur, how many people would turn around?
Oh, man, there was, we were with my mom, we were with my dad a lot, obviously my brother, so there could have been quite a few.
Path to get here, all the different coaches, all the different leaders. It's a long list. So how does that kind of prepare you to lead this team here in 2026?
Yeah, I mean, extremely fortunate to be with a lot of those guys that you're talking about. You're talking about Shanahan, you're talking about McVay. I mean, Dan Quinn, we go to the Super Bowl in 2016. Obviously, they go to the NFC Championship, just 2 years ago, if you will. So not only just the offensive minds, but just a lot of great leaders, for different buildings. You try to soak all that in, but also, authentically be yourself. I'm not those guys, and I'm not going to try to be those guys. You're just going to try to take some of those lessons and apply it to, your own personalities and how you see fit.
Are you itching to call plays? Like, is it something like if you haven't called plays in a while, you got to kind of...
It's fun. It's...
Does it go back to like the playing video games with Madden all the way back there?
It's a little more than that.
Because I can dial it up.
I'm sure you can. When we were playing Madden and NCAA football, I didn't need like 4 or 5 hours after playing to wind down. When you call a game, I mean, it's like you went through it, the ringer there for a while. And no, it's fun. You just kind of... You feel like you're in it with the guys a little bit more when you're calling it and you're talking to the quarterback. Like I've said to Matthew Stafford and I used to talk about it all the time. And I'm not like we're going to call bad plays, but the worst play call is the late play call. Like get the play in, have conviction in the play, and let the quarterback call the play, and not have a rush system, if you will. And that's that starts with me.
Well, as we kind of pour over everything and expectations, obviously for the season, are news this time of year, largely based on last year's record. But Buddha has said his expectations are high. Look at Mac Wilson, who wants to take on all comers, and then just talking to Roy Lopez in the locker room yesterday.
It's all about respect. That's the biggest thing on my mind.
The look in his eye playing for his hometown team, how motivating is it to have success with guys like that?
I love these guys, and you're just starting to get to know these guys. We haven't actually strapped it up on an actual game and seen these guys go do it in the grass. But you feel like part of our job as coaches is to read these guys and find who's genuine, who really loves it, who has the passion. And there's no doubt in my mind we have a locker room full of those guys, and we have a locker room full of leaders that unite guys. You talk about glue, like great leaders unite everyone, and I feel like we have a lot of those guys that just are authentic to themselves.
Does it still sink in how special this is to LaFleur's coaching in the NFL?
Honestly, I wish I could lie. I don't like talking about it because you want to talk about, keep the main thing. It's about these players because this is a player-driven league. But I think what would be surprising to a lot of people is when him and I are together, we're really not even talking about football. It's like a time to actually not talk about football because most people want to talk about it.
Is it coffee? Like what are we talking about? What's the LaFleur brothers conversation?
Oh man, he's a weird coffee guy. He puts a little vanilla flavor in it every time. I just like mine black and good. So who knows what, we spent a lot of time in Wisconsin, got a lot of golf, and we just started that in the last year, and ultimately have gotten pretty competitive with it. We're not any good, but
can you beat him at least? What's the record?
I'll go on record and say the last time we played, I beat him pretty good. But then I'll also go on record and say he did beat me more when we were there.
All the things going on, opening day, national anthems playing. What do you think will be going through your mind? Will it be the road to get there, or will it be more the road ahead?
Yeah, that's a great question, and I know myself. I am an emotional guy. I try to hold it as much as possible, but I know the butterflies will be going there, and but you got to settle yourself, just like you ask the players to do. I mean, this is an emotional game, and I know how I feel. I can't even imagine what these players are going through, going to play, the coolest sport, in the world, in my opinion, at least the United States, as we all know, and they're doing it at the highest level. It's fun and it's hard, but it's not going to be easy, but usually it's worth it for these guys.
New head coach, very much at ease right there. I think we need to get him on Nick King's Dream 18 next year.
You can dial up plays, huh?
Yeah, in Madden, like 2004.
Okay.
Meanwhile, our next major offseason change for the Cardinals, quarterback Jacoby Brissett, who got a major salary bump for the second and final year of his contract, now worth at least $15.5 million.
Jacoby took over last season, of course, after Kyler Murray was sidelined with an injury, starting the final 12 games. Now, the glaring statistic is the win-loss record in those games, 1-11, but there's a lot of nuance there. Brissett had career-high touchdown passes and completion percentage, led the NFL in passing yards per start, set a record for completions in a game, energized the offense and the locker room. The way his teammates reacted to the pay raise and getting him back on the field tells you everything.
Yeah, we had cake. No, it was good. Just the like I said, the currency is the respect of your teammates, and the people that you go to work with. Obviously, some of these guys here don't know me from last year, but a lot of guys that were here with me last year and being able to, come up to me and obviously their excitement for me, I think that meant more to me than the actual contract getting done, to be honest with you.
I thought under the circumstances, he was great last year. He had no offensive line, no running game to speak of.
Right.
Michael Carter was the Cardinals' leading rusher last year with like 300 some odd yards for the season.
Yeah, and if you give him a run game, you think about the Indianapolis game and the Green Bay game, and Jacksonville knocking at the door. It was a one-score game. You score a touchdown, the Cardinals have 3 more wins on the board right there. I think I've been thinking about this a lot. If this has to happen for it to be successful for Jacoby Brissett, finish that sentence, I think if Marvin Harrison Jr. takes the next step, like Michael Wilson did a season ago, that's a successful season for the Cardinals, and that's a pretty scary offense.
Yeah, just has to close games a little bit better. That was maybe the only thing missing from Jacoby individually. Now, as to the running game, the third major offseason storyline, drafting running back Jeremiah Love, 3rd overall. And the enthusiasm for his arrival in the desert is off the charts, as we saw when he visited the studios here at Arizona's Family earlier this summer.
Yeah, he was spreading the love. Now, Love, he's certainly dynamic.
As we've seen in training camp already, he just moves differently. And he's going to be a huge part of this offense, both as a ball carrier and a pass catcher.
Yeah, and that's why they drafted him so high. I was able to sit down with Jeremiah Love one-on-one as he visited the stations to see just how ready he is to make the transition from college to the big leagues. How does your mindset flip when I hand you a football?
It's almost like flipping the light switch, you know? Turn it on, turn it off. Right now it's off, you turn it on, hand me a football, that's turn it on. So kind of alter ego me would probably come out and, you know, ready to compete, ready to play ball, ready to hit, ready to do whatever I got to do to, you know, win in whatever regard that looks like.
When did you realize this is what you could do for a living?
Since I was a kid, you know, always had the dream of going to the NFL. You know, never really knew what it would look like, because as a kid, you know, you aspire to be so many things. You know, I aspire to be a doctor, aspire to be a professional athlete, but I wanted to go to the NFL. Like, I always knew that I could do it, but just never knew what it would quite look like. So this has kind of been, you know, eye-opening, this whole experience, you know, being with the Cardinals and actually being in the NFL. It's way different than I thought it was going to be as a kid. So, yeah, I kind of always knew.
You seem to walk the line between confidence and humility. Where's the confidence come from?
Just my ability. You know, I've been playing football ever since I was about 6 years old. So I know a lot of ball. I got great instincts. So that's where my confidence comes from. And it's kind of just been built over time, you know. You play ball for so long, or you do something for so long, you know, confidence just builds up. You got a natural just inkling for it. So that's where the confidence comes from. I say the humility, I mean, I kind of try to remind myself every day that I am a normal person outside of the game of football. You know, just because I'm a good athlete or I'm a good athlete in others' eyes, you know, doesn't make me any better of a human being than anybody else. So I kind of try to make sure I remind myself of that every single day, so that I'm always centered, but I always still have that confidence about myself, knowing that I can go out there and be Jeremiah.
Can you just show it? Give everybody the right way to do it. Is the bottom the most important part?
It's really the top, honestly, because the bottom is going to shape itself, but the top, you got to make sure that you just form that heart right. It's kind of hard. A lot of times I done did it wrong, or I done did it really messy. I remember one time I got a heart like this in game, so correct way, make sure the top is good and the bottom will just come in.
Can you imagine, can you see it right now out in Glendale? Scored a touchdown, looking up and seeing.
I've imagined it already about 100 times already, so yeah, definitely can see it. It's gonna happen pretty soon.
All right, he called it right here on our show. Yes, I can imagine maybe like October, we can see that visual. Love's not the only one who should see the field at some point. Chase Basanis went in the second round of the draft. He's a 6'4", 330-pound guard out of Texas A&M. Quarterback Carson Beck, drafted 65th overall in the third round, and a controversial choice at that spot. But Beck, could he be the quarterback of the future? Certainly looked like it in the Hall of Fame game. The Cardinals drafted defensive tackle Caleb Proctor out of Southeastern Louisiana in the fourth round. Unfortunately, he's on injury reserve and will not play this season.
In the fifth round, the Cardinals grabbed receiver Reggie Virgil out of Texas Tech. And the Cards rounded out their draft with linebacker Carson Shire out of Iowa and offensive tackle Jaden Williams out of Ole Miss, who's impressed so far in camp.
Well, there's a lot more to unpack before the Cardinals season begins. When we come back, we're going to look at the offensive weapons the Cardinals are working with in 2026.
While the offensive tools are there, the defense has room for improvement. We'll hear from veteran safety Budda Baker, who's looking to make an impact and keep the Cardinals in the lead.
Welcome back to Inside the Nest, our Cardinals 2026 season preview. Mark McClune, Nick King from Arizona's Family Studios. The Cardinals will not be short on weapons this season. Jacoby Brissett has some elite playmakers to throw the ball to.
He really does. And with Brissett taking snaps, Trey McBride officially became the best tight end in football last season. After 6 total touchdown receptions his first 3 years, McBride had 11 in year 4, the most in the NFL for a tight end. He also had the most receiving yards at his position, going over 1,000 for the second straight season.
And I have a stat. Half of his catches went for first downs.
Oh, that's what he does. And his 126 total receptions, second in the entire league behind only Puka Nacua. The other guy who exploded in 2025 was Michael Wilson. And I'd say a year ago, there were questions about whether he was good enough to be a number 2 wide receiver.
And now we're talking about potentially a contract extension. Now, he looks like a number 1 guy. The chemistry with Brissett is undeniable. Wilson caught a career-best 78 passes last season. He almost doubled his receiving yards from the year prior with over 1,000, averaging nearly 13 yards a catch. He had 7 receiving touchdowns, tied for 15th most in the league, and kind of got going a little late in the season and equaled his first 2 seasons combined. Meanwhile, it's proving time for the Cardinals' current wide receiver 1, or at least he was drafted to be. Marvin Harrison Jr. dealt with injuries toward the end of last season, making it a 2nd year in a row for the former number 4 overall draft pick that left more to be desired. Now, as far as MHJ, we see the talent, but injuries have really derailed them. This is a huge year for him because this is typically where guys either get paid or have to move on and go somewhere else.
I think about that Seahawks game on Thursday night as kind of summing up his entire career, where he had the miserable first half with the drops and the interception where he kind of stopped running on the route. And then he was incredible in the second half. We just need to see more consistency that looks like that second half of that game.
And you see what Jacoby Brissett has done with Trey McBride and Michael Wilson. Marvin Harrison Jr. is the next step in that piece. We've talked about it. How much a run game helps there if the offensive line can hold up. This is an offense that has some major potential.
It does. Now, on the other side of the ball, injuries decimated the defense last season, so improved health feels like a heck of a start there. But it's still largely the same core of guys and the same defensive coordinator, Nick Rallis, who all have to be a lot better, plain and simple. Last year, the Cards had 488 points scored against them. Comes out to an average of about 29 points allowed per game, which gets even worse if you just look at the 9 straight losses to end the season when they were allowing more than 35 per game. Tough to win like that. The Cards' D was also among the worst in the NFL in yards allowed and 3rd down conversions allowed.
Well, that side of the ball still has been one of the best leaders in the sport, patrolling the secondary. Budda Baker entering his 10th season in the National Football League. I can't believe it's been a decade for Budda. The star safety, sporting a new clean-shaven look, but he's hoping for the same standout performances in the defensive backfield.
Julia Lopez spoke with him one-on-one as Budda tries to make it an 8th straight Pro Bowl season.
All right, Budda. Year 10, rocking a new look. What was the decision to get rid of the facial hair?
You know, every now and again I do some things different. You know, in the off season I kind of switch it up a little bit. So just cutting it off, just to, you know, see what it looks like. I forgot what my jawline looks like. So
last time I saw you, I think I was on the 16th hole at the WM Phoenix Open Pro-Am. Just bringing out the clubs. Just what was that experience like?
Oh, that was definitely special. My first time doing that. I told myself I had to wait to become like at least a 12 handicap golfer to show up and do that. So it was a great time. You know, I definitely thought that I was going to be a little more nervous than I was.
Are you a little nervous to get in on this?
No, I don't get nervous.
Not even with the golf club in your hand?
No, not at all. Yeah, I'm excited.
Who was your caddy that day?
Oh, my caddy was Denzel Burke. Nice. You know, my rook. I only had one thing that he messed up on. He dropped my bag. You know, that was the one thing. You're never supposed to drop a guy's bag.
In college, you can use your speed and stuff like that, but in the big leagues, you got to use much more technique.
Well, good to see you here for year 10. Does it feel like it's been a decade?
It doesn't feel that way. You know, that's what I tell the young guys. You know, before you know it, you're going to be entering multiple years in the league, and you know, it just happened to be year 10 for me, and just been blessed to be on the same team, the same organization my whole career. So the future's bright. I'm just very excited for this year, for the season, for the players that we have.
And you guys are underdogs for a lot of these games heading in, but what is, you know, just the mentality approaching this season, knowing that maybe you are a little overlooked?
Our mentality is just living in the present. You know, going through training camp right now, we're just trying to continue to get better as a team. For us, it's not about the talking, it's about, you know, what happens on the field. So that's what we're excited to do.
When you look at this defense as a whole, just what are your expectations? I feel like there's a lot of key pieces, especially guys that are coming back healthy.
Yeah, like you said, you know, my expectations are very high. You know, we have really great cornerback room, cornerback depth. really great safety depth, D lineman depth, guys like Walt coming back, a guy who I think very highly of. He can be a #1 defensive lineman in this league. We got a lot of guys who are hungry, who are excited for this season, and we don't play about the disrespect, so it's okay.
There you go. Watch out for Buddha on the golf course and also on the field. Thank you so much for taking the time. Appreciate
Thank you.
Another guy to get on the Dream 18.
Oh, so good. Thank you, Julian. I can't wait to see Walter Nolan this season. Still ahead on Inside the Nest, a Cardinals legend receives the highest honor in the NFL. We'll take you to Larry Fitzgerald's Hall of Fame induction and look at his impact on the league.
Ladies and gentlemen, presenting Larry Fitzgerald for enshrinement in the Pro Football Hall of Fame, his son, Devin Fitzgerald.
I'm very proud of you, son. I'm very proud of you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
There's something about hearing Larry over and all in a crowd. It's magical.
That must have been pretty cool to hear in person.
Yeah, absolutely. Just one more time.
That man, Larry Fitzgerald, is another reason it's been a major offseason for the Arizona Cardinals. The star wide receiver inducted into the Pro Football Hall of Fame.
Now, Fitz was honored at the Hall of Fame game where the Cardinals played in the league's first preseason game in Canton, Ohio. Larry was drafted by the Cardinals 3rd overall in 2004, and the rest is history. He would go on to play his entire 17-year career in the NFL with the Cardinals, making gravity-defying catches the whole time, including their 2008 Super Bowl appearance against the Steelers and 3 other playoff bids. Now, to say he left an impression on the Cardinals and the leagues is a massive understatement. Fitz has the 2nd most receiving yards of all time in the NFL behind Jerry Rice alone with nearly 17,500 yards. He's also 2nd all-time in receptions with 1,432. He logged 121 receiving touchdowns across 17 seasons.
I just want to show a little love to my Cardinal fans here in attendance today. For the Cardinal fans back home in Arizona, you guys supported us on and off the field over the years. You showed up at home games. You showed up at away games through wins and losses. It's been 22 years and counting, Arizona, and I'll spend the rest of my life trying to replenish the well of goodwill I have been lucky enough to drink from.
Yeah, so well done by Larry Fitzgerald with the speech, and I think it was a great way to kick off a new era with Mike LaFleur in the new season to have Larry kind of ring it in going to the Hall of Fame.
Greatest Arizona Cardinal of all time, right?
Yeah, maybe the greatest athlete in Arizona history. Special for sure. It's going to be a special season. We're the preseason home of the Cardinals, and this man will be live in Los Angeles September 13th. Cardinals taking on the Chargers. How do you feel about the season in one word?
Optimistic.
Yes. I'm feeling it as well.
More so than most.
We'll be here every step of the way on Arizona's Family Sports, your official station of the Arizona Cardinals. And here every weeknight on the Extra Point, it's the Valley's only night local sports show, Talking Cardinals here on Arizona's Family. Enjoy football season, everybody.